The latest polls have been released since the tweets.
But what does it prove?
Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America. Well, last week I said that this was a chess game that Trump was playing, that he was playing the Democratic Party, and that the Democratic Party was absolutely hurting themselves. And I got a lot of feedback from it. A lot of people were angry. People unsubscribed. They said I was.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that doesn't matter to me either way for anybody that knows me. But one of the things that was interesting was like, oh, please, you're giving him way too much credit. This is gonna come back and bite Trump in the booty. Yada 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 yada. Okay, all right. So I said it. Tim Pool said it, which Tim Pool is way more conversant with this stuff than me. But I said it before. The big homie, it's there. You can check it yourself. But you know, as recently as Friday. People were mocking the big homie, saying that I was stupid and that Trump was stupid and that he's a racist and yada yada yada. Okay, all right. Well, here's a poll. This is the Marist poll or the Marist poll or something like that. This is from the National Review. Here it is. Trump approval rating hits record high in new poll.
Oh my gosh!
22nd July.
Yeah.
This was yesterday.
Yep.
Well into his third year in office, President Trump's approval rating has reached a record high, according to a poll released Monday.
Wow.
That was yesterday. Now, immediately, I'm going to have a bunch of orange man bad people with Trump derangement syndrome. We're going to say, well, yeah, because all the racists are coming out the closet now, they're supporting him. Because they didn't know he was racist before. Right? Is that the argument? Trump's approval rating hit 44% in the NPR NewsHour Marist poll. The highest level at which it's been recorded in any mainstream opinion poll, with the exception of a July 7 Washington Post poll that recorded 47% approval. Now, NPR is National Public Radio. They're like left. They're not in the business of publishing anything nice to our emperor.
Okay. Our emperor.
Okay? Respondents were surveyed from July 15th to July 17th in the days following the president's tweet instructing 4 freshman congresswomen of color to go back to their home countries, which is, again, a misquote. He didn't say that.
Right.
He said, if you know so much about fixing countries, go to your nasty countries, fix them up, then come back and help us. That's what he said.
Right. I'm pretty sure he said, like, you can go or you could stay.
Well, he said it in the interviews. They asked him to follow up what he said in the interviews.
Oh, okay, that was the interview.
I told him to come back after they fixed the problem. But this very quotation is the very reason the Democrats are going to lose in 2020. Since taking office, Trump's approval rating has hovered between 35 and 43% since taking office. The poll, which included responses from 1,336 adults, who also found that Trump has won over a small but significant group of independents in the last month. You know, people who don't call themselves Democrat or Republican?
Wow.
Independents. Increased from 35 to 42 in the most recent poll. These are independents.
Wow.
These are not Confederate flag waving, Ku Klux Klan meeting, cross burning, group going to people. These are independents. And he went from 35 to 42%. What is that, 7% increase?
Is that, have you ever heard that before? Like, you know, because I'm not as much.
Well, I've never heard of it before. On the heels of such a risky move.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Independents usually don't like extreme.
Yeah.
They kind of like being in the middle and whatever. Meanwhile, the percentage of respondents who said they will definitely vote against Trump remain unchanged from last month at 53%. Meaning, the people that hate Trump no matter what still hate him. Surprise, surprise. You mean what he didn't... it would be one thing if the people that said they will definitely not vote for him went from 53% to 62. It remained flat.
Right.
Meaning it didn't do anything for the people that were on the fence about him or the people that loved him. While Trump gained ground among independents, Democrats remain unpopular with the group. And that's the group you need to win the election, right? Independents? Isn't that true? The hardcore right-wingers are not going to vote for you. And the hardcore left-wingers, you already have them. It's the independents, right? That the folks in Minnesota or the folks in the Rust Belt who... Mm-hmm. Those are the people you need to vote. And you're unpopular with those people. 43% of respondents in the poll said they believed the Democrats would take the country in a positive direction if given the opportunity, compared with 46 who said the party would lead the country in a negative direction. So basically, among independents, 46% of people in that group, which we are in, said you would take us in a bad road, and only 43 said you'd be in a good road. Independents are on the fence overall, said Lee Miraganoff, director of the Marist Institute.
So wait, maybe I misunderstood what's happening here. So they're saying that they're saying 43% of them said that the Democrats would bring the government in a good place, and then 46% said the Republicans would?
No. Only 43% of them believe that the Democrats would take us in a positive direction.
Okay.
46% of them believe it'll be in a negative direction. So the majority of independents don't trust the Democratic Party.
Yeah, okay.
Independents are on the fence overall, said Lee Miraganoff, director of the Marist Institute for Public Opinion at Marist College. They're not willing to grant President Trump re-election, and yet they're not persuaded by Democrats at this point. While trust in Democrats remains low, a number of progressive policy proposals espoused by most of the 2020 Democratic presidential contenders performed well. Requiring background checks for all gun purchases received 89% support. It should receive 100, but okay. Medicare for all. What do I talk about all the time on this freaking channel?
Yep.
What do I talk about?
Medicare for all.
Medicare for all and abortion. It's the only thing I talk about. That's it. Get me Medicare for all, Democrats. Because I know the Republicans aren't going to do it. Medicare for all who want it received a 70% support before dropping off to just 41% when respondents were told that the proposal would include the elimination of private insurance, which is what happened. They had a Democratic debate. They asked the question, who would completely eliminate private insurance? And I think Tulsi and somebody else raised their hand. That's not a good play.
Right.
You need a mixture.
You do.
Because all of us are used to living in a capitalist environment, and you cannot go full-blown socialist on people.
Right.
It scares people to death.
Yeah, for sure.
And now, you went from 70% support to 41 because you have to use this extreme language. So now,
I wouldn't like that either. I'm for Medicare for all, but I don't want you to eliminate my private insurance if I'm working to have my insurance, because you have different tiers of how much.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. What I want is nobody dies of having to ration their diabetes.
Right.
But I don't want the government telling me what I can do with my own personal insurance. I don't want the government telling me to do that. See, I'm not a full-blown social. The term socialist doesn't scare me. I don't care. But when you have these people that are asked a direct question, then they raise their hand and say, "Sure, let's just gut private insurance for everybody." Then now independents are like, well, wait a second. Independents are capitalists with a heart, right? It's like, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
I want my Catholic insurance. I just want to make sure I'm not burying my neighbor because of bullshit like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. More radical progressive proposals such as decriminalizing illegal border crossings, 27%, and paying reparations to black people proved less popular. Both of those got 27s.
Wow.
Okay? So here's what this poll tells us.
I didn't even know that was still on the table.
What, reparations?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of new to the table now because it's now being taken seriously.
Interesting.
Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. What does this poll tell us? This poll tells us that there are Democrats who are never going to vote for Trump for whatever reason. We all knew that. And it also tells us that independents didn't give a damn about what Trump said to those girls, those women, on Twitter. They didn't care. You know what they cared about? Oh, policy. Imagine that. Imagine that. People were actually worried about policy and not rhetoric on Twitter. You don't say.
How can this be?
And propping up Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ilhan Omar and the rest of them. Actually, I was arguing that this is going to hurt the Democrats because those people are the voice boxes of the most extreme policy on the left. And what do you know? They happen to be championing literally the most unpopular stuff. The border crossing stuff, 27%. Reparations, 27%. Medicare for all, when you drop private insurance, you lost 30 percentage points on policy. Trump gained 7 percentage points. Why? Oh, I guess you're going to say that all those independents, the 7% of independents, well, I guess we just found out that those independents are racist as hell too. Is that what's going on? Or maybe those independents got swayed by the tune of 7% because they saw the squad up there, and then you saw the Democratic Party circling the wagons around the squad. Maybe that had something to do with it. But if we're going to continue with the same leftist talking points, it's going to be, well, you know, all those people are racist. I guess I'm a racist too. You know, there was a clip of Cat Williams and some dude from Mexico he was going back and forth, and Cat Williams told the guy to go back to Mexico if he doesn't like it in America.
He did?
Yeah, I guess Cat Williams is also a racist. Oh, he's black.
Well, you can still be a racist and be black.
Yeah, but not to leftists. Only white people can be racist to left. I mean, it's just like, and you know what kills me? They're not going to admit that they lost. You lost. You lost this round of chess. You lost. There's literally nothing in this report that would make you feel good as a leftist. Nothing. Like, there's nothing in here. You lost ground with 7% of independents after Trump did his hotty-cotty and tweeted up a storm.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't back. The other thing is he wouldn't back down from it, and he kept. What did he do? He wouldn't back down. He never apologized for what he said, and he kept centering Ilhan Omar, which is the least liked person among the squad. And you're gonna tell me he's not doing this on purpose?
He's playing chess. Everybody else is playing tic-tac-toe.
And these idiots are gonna get us. We're this close to getting Medicare for all. If we could just get a coalition together, and then you raise your hand and say you're gonna cut private insurance. Why? It's this extremism.
John, that doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what's the win in that. What's the gain?
These
Why
leftists,
would they say that?
I mean, they're crazy. Like, look, most people, even if you're like pro-choice, okay, like most people don't like the idea of chopping up a baby in the 9th month, okay? And these idiots did this in New York, so now people like me and you who are like, man, we really need to consider voting for some Democrats. This is crazy. Now we're like, yo, chill, whoa. Yeah, Bernie Sanders talking about, like, whoa.
I was like all on board with Bernie.
Yeah.
I was like,
names are up to the 9th month. Whoa.
You're supposed to be like a grandfather.
I don't want to hear it. Like, you know, there's all health, and we already did that. We exposed what health means for the RHA, the RHA Act. And if you go to RHAvote.com, you can see that they don't want any term limits for abortion, and they don't want to give any reasons. Women should just be able to stroll in. Most Americans are not for that.
Right.
Most Americans are still in the clump of cells mindset. They're not thinking about doing that to a little baby. So all these extreme positions that are being taken. Meanwhile, what are independents seeing? Trump kept us out of a war with Iran. Trump is talking about. Trump was the one that was actually trying to get money to the border because Trump was saying there's a crisis at the border, and the leftists were saying, oh, that's a manufactured crisis. And guess who voted against beds for little kids at the border? Guess who voted against that? AOC, who he then centered. Hello?
Wow.
He's centering the people that are making these horrible extremist decisions. Poor Nancy Pelosi's up there, you know. And speaking of the Marist poll, what I did was I said, let me see what these guys said in 2016.
Okay.
Because 2016 was the year that Trump got elected. Remember, nobody thought he was going to win.
Yeah.
So let me see what these, it was 8/5/2016. This is July 22nd. So it's about 2 weeks. That's the closest I could come. In a national survey conducted from Monday through Wednesday this week, same amount of time, Democrats Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine have a 48%, lead Republicans Donald Trump and Mike Pence 33% by 15 points among registered voters in the race for the White House. 12% say they would not support either candidate if the election were held today. 2% said they would back somebody else. 5% are undecided, yada, 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 yada. So Trump, she was up by 15 points as of 2016. Add a long list of unforced errors by Trump to Clinton's post-convention bounce, and you end up with a Trump candidacy in jeopardy, says Dr. Lee Miringoff, director of the Marist College Institute for Public Opinion, as the same guy I quoted just now. The tale of the tape is that Trump now trails Clinton by double digits, and in contrast with Clinton is viewed as unacceptable by the majority of the electorate. Democrats have coalesced around Clinton. Clinton has the backing of 90% of Democrats, up from 83% in July. However, more than 1 in 10 Republicans does not support either Trump or Clinton. Among Republicans, 79% back Trump, down from 85. 30% of the independent voters are now behind Clinton, while 31 are for Trump. Let me say that again. In 2016, the election where Trump won, he was at, look at that, 31% with independent voters. That's where he was. That's where he was. And then he went from 35 to 42.
Jeez.
He's at 11% ahead of where he was in 2016 with independents. And this is after his Twitter chess move. I'm going to say that again. If you compare Trump now to Trump in 2016, he is 11 percentage points ahead in independent voters, which is the voting bloc that's going to make him win after the Twitter move. Clinton has improved her standing among white voters, yada, 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 yada. I mean, basically what this means is that Trump is way ahead of Trump in 2016 and 2019. And Democrats have noticed this. Trump has never stopped campaigning. That's the other thing. I don't know if you noticed this.
That's true.
But you know those rallies and all that? He never stopped.
That's true.
Most candidates, they do that and then they win and they go on. Trump has never stopped. Now, why? Is it because he loves the adulation, the worship and all that? I'm sure that's a big part of it. But I keep trying to tell you, you leftists, your underestimation of Trump and your disrespect of Trump is what's going to hand him 2020.
Absolutely.
The man was tirelessly campaigning. Hillary Clinton stopped campaigning to the most important states, and she lost them when the blue wall crumbled like so much glass. And the man didn't stop campaigning. And to this moment, who is the no-doubter among the Democratic Party? We don't have any. And don't say, well, the Republicans were in shambles in 2016 and they pulled it out. Yeah, they pulled it out because they had a once-in-a-lifetime charismatic leader who went out and did things that you were completely not supposed to do as a politician. The guy literally broke every rule in the book. Are you trying to tell me that there's an equivalent to Trump on the Democratic side in 2019? Who is it? Is it Joe Biden, Mr. I didn't know when I was Mr. Oh, what did he say? Like this wouldn't have happened?
Under my watch or something like that.
Jimmy Dorset, well, you. we gotta find that clip.
So Joe Biden gave an interview, and I think he's starting to forget dates and times and exactly when he was vice president. Because listen to what he said. Here we go. Ready?
Look at what's happening with Putin. While Putin is trying to undo our elections, he is undoing elections in Europe. Look what's happened in Hungary. Look what's happened in Poland. Look what's happened in Moldova. Look what's happening. You think that would have happened on my watch or Barack's watch? You can't answer that, but I promise you it wouldn't have.
Whoopsie. It happened under your watch. All this Russiagate. I don't know if you guys know, you were president. You were and vice president then. That was your administration.
Yeah. This is your no-doubter. This is the guy that's going to get us Medicare for all. Didn't even know when he was the president. You're sleeping on Donald Trump. The man obviously has the work ethic of a horse. He's like 70 years old.
I know.
And he's still jet-setting all over the place. We went to California. We were all done. Friggin' one-day travel.
Right.
This friggin' guy is going all over the friggin' planet. He's probably Nikolai Carpathia. And only like 4 people will know what I'm talking about. He's been campaigning the whole damn time. And the geniuses over there at the DNC, what do they have to offer us? Squad, open borders, unpopular with everybody except for me. Even my own people came against me when I talked about open borders. Look at all the comments.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I did a call-in show. Everybody called in and told me I was crazy for open borders. You know what that means? That means it's not a very popular, even BM fan, who is an anarchist, is not even a big open borders guy. It is not a popular...
That's scary to people.
It is not a popular position. And it is not the official left-wing position, but but here's what happens. Trump has no problem with saying that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get open borders. If you vote for these people, they're gonna let all these brown people in. We don't know what crimes they've committed. And the squad does not communicate in such a way as to say, no, we respect our border. We are a nation of laws. Do you know who came up with the term we're a nation of laws in the context of the border? That was Barack Hussein Obama. And now, y'all are acting like Trump is some SS soldier for saying that. It was your guy that said that. Hello? All the people that voted for Obama are the same people who voted for Trump, smart guy. So Obama was going on the border. Obama was strong on the border. Obama was saying we need to do something about the border. And now we've got AOC who won't even give the kids the money to get a bed because she's saying she doesn't want to, enable them by rewarding them with money. Enable these, because she called it a concentration camp. I don't know. I'll have to look into my archives of the last time that Hitler was going to the German populace and asking for money to get beds in Auschwitz.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Do you? Somebody get me that link where Hitler was saying we need money so that these Jewish kids can be on beds in Auschwitz. Since you wanted to compare it to a concentration camp.
Right.
AOC? I'm pissed off because this basically guarantees that we have no shot at Medicare for all.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that Medicare for
all. I see
all.
what you're saying. Yep.
I'm not convinced that Medicare for all is the solution, but it's closer to the solution. I am fine with a couple of trial and error moves, like okay, Obamacare didn't work. We had 30 million Americans not covered. Okay, let's try Medicare for all. That's probably not going to work. But the more we try, eventually
we'll figure
we're not getting there at all.
Yeah.
With this group of Democrats, forget it, because they're too silly and prideful to recognize when they're wrong.
Okay, all right.
You have to take this man seriously.
Yeah. It's totally true.
You have. It's the same thing.
There's so many angles where they keep missing what they're supposed to be doing.
So
and they keep falling into his trap.
It's
over
so
and over.
obvious that he played you.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely.
If I was
did.
Nancy Pelosi, I would come out and I would hold a special meeting. I put all the cards on the table and say, look, this thing is not working. We need to focus on policy. Here's what Americans are about. Everybody's good with gun control. We're about 90%.
Yeah.
70% of Americans are going to be good with Medicare for all if we can keep our private insurance. Nobody wants to butcher 9-month-old babies, okay? And we gotta be reasonable about the border. We need to be generous, but we need to be reasonable about the border. That's what we need to do. These four, we're putting them on a hiatus until after 2020. You go out and say it and marginalize them. Pelosi needs to marginalize those four.
Yep.
And you're watching too much Young Turks or whatever. They're only popular in their echo chambers. That's it. You know, the soccer mom over there in California with her little Hillary bumper sticker, she does not want open borders. Hello? I don't know if you understand this, but just because somebody's a Democrat doesn't mean that they're not xenophobic too.
Right. Right.
And secondly, characterizing somebody as xenophobic just because it's a mistake I make all the time. My point is, the little white suburban lady is not necessarily happy with your open borders policy either, even though she's a Democrat. And if she lives on a border state, that is absolutely going to influence her. And then she's going to be all confused because the Republicans are asking for money to help with this crisis that your man Obama helped create. By the way, he was called a deporter-in-chief. And now this soccer mom is saying, well, wait a second. You got one group of people that are saying, we just let everybody in, even criminals. And every time there's a Hernandez that shows up on the news, over there in Arizona or over there in Texas or over there in San Francisco or California, every time there's a Hernandez in the news who does something wrong, and then she hears you, AOC, implying that you don't want any border security, and then when they see you talking about these poor kids at the border separating families, but then they turn on the TV and they see that Trump is the one asking for aid, and Don Lemon and the rest of them saying there's no crisis at the border. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a gigantic, colossal mess, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that these people are sleeping on this guy. This guy is a billionaire. I don't care what you say. I don't care what any of y'all say. Right now, you guys are in denial stage 10. You think? Look, I'm going to tell you something. I know who's successful and who isn't in life. Like, I talk to YouTubers all the time, and I can tell immediately when the person's going to be successful and when they're not. I can tell in 5 seconds. You know what it is? One is work ethic. How often are they putting content out there? And 2 is, how are they manipulating the game? Can they play the game well? Do they know how to deal with the algorithm? Every YouTuber knows about that. So I'm trying to cut down on my swearing in my Middle America channel. Take out the BS thing that I said.
Where was that?
Those are the successful YouTubers. Nobody, listen to me, nobody gets to the top of their game in any field by being an oaf and an idiot. It's the same stupidity they did with George Bush. Oh, George Bush is dumb. Remember that? Bush is stupid. Bush is not intelligent. How did he get reelected then?
No, my parents loved Bush.
Well, yeah.
I didn't
How did he get reelected? It wasn't even close. Keep sleeping on these people. You can call them dumb all you want. You can call them dumb all you want. Most presidents in America did not get reelected. Getting elected is a feat. Getting reelected is a massive one, and Mr. Bush accomplished that in the midst of an extremely unpopular war. So keep on going with this. This guy is the most intelligent politician I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a guy who knows his constituency better than anybody, and he also knows who he needs to get. You know, it's like the thing where people are like, oh, you know, if you're in the woods, you know, bears can run as fast as horses. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to outrun a bear? And then the one common sense guy goes, I don't need to outrun a bear, I just need to outrun you. That's exactly what Trump is doing. Trump's like, there's 53% of you, it doesn't matter what I say. If I, you know, they're still going to call Trump, you know, you guys still got black folks running around calling Trump racist. Hello? He undid Hillary's crime bill. You know, Hillary, black kids are super predators. Clinton, remember her? Remember the crime bill that Barack Hussein Obama did nothing about? Remember that? So you go. So Trump knows it doesn't matter what he does; they're still going to call him a racist. And Trump also knows there's a whole contingent of ignorant black folks that are not even going to give him a chance because you got a bunch of silly black folks that believe that the Democratic Party is their party, even though Barack Hussein Obama did literally nothing for us. Nothing. Zero.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I wasn't.
You know what? One of the kids, I was talking to the kids about it, and I was telling them like what Trump was doing as far as like trying to get the ones, you know, that got put in there for weed, you know, get those people out and stuff. I was explaining that to them. They were like, oh, that's really cool. And then they said, Obama must have done a lot. And then I was like, no, Obama didn't do anything.
Obama didn't do a damn thing for us.
Zoe looked at me and she goes, I bet he wanted to impress the white people.
Of course.
And I was like, wow, she's like quick.
Of course. Of course. So he knows that. So he's like, he's not even trying. Go home. Go home. Women of, he said that to a bunch of women of color. He realizes that white people are still the super majority in this country. And he also realizes there's a bunch of black people who've heard black people, we are deep. See, here's the thing, is that there's a lot of woke white people that are just now going, wait a second, there's racism. We've dealt with it all our lives. So when we hear send her home, I'm telling you as a brother, it is not as deeply hurtful as you think it is. It's not. Good God. He's just eating them alive. I cannot believe this. Now I couldn't have told you this. I thought, you know what I would have said? I would have said, well, he's going to take a dip, but long term it's going to work in his favor.
You could have predicted it was going up.
He got the independence, and that's what he needs. And he is, like I said, he's 11 percentage points ahead of where he was.
Wow.
This time in 2016. with a lot more advantages. The economy is booming. Unemployment is low. I had my man BM fan. I love him to death, but he called me up one time. He told me, well, it's not always good to have low unemployment. I love you to death, BM fan, but I think you're wrong there. Or maybe
It's not always good to have low unemployment.
yeah, maybe I'm not as smart as you, BM fan, but the problem is most Americans are as dumb as me, and they think when the economy is doing good and when unemployment's low, that's generally a good thing.
Yeah.
Most people would take that as a good thing. So he can say, hey, I fixed the economy. He can take complete credit for the economy, even though, it was uptrending at the end of the Obama administration, but
Well, yeah, but
Bush-
Trump has brought a lot of jobs back to America.
Well,
right? He's shut down a lot of things.
He did, and he stood up to the Chinese
right.
with the trade stuff.
Right.
Whether or not he's going to be successful at it, he did stand up to them, and the market's been all over the place as far as anytime he does that. On top of that, there's no saber rattling about North Korea. There was all this saber rattling. Oh, we're going to go to jihad against North Korea. And he's accomplishing, he took a picture in North Korea. He crossed over into North Korea with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, I
and
remember
took
that.
a picture with him.
Yes, I remember
That is insane.
Why? Why is that insane?
It's never been done.
Oh.
No U.S. president has ever done that since we had the conflict with Korea.
Oh.
And
Okay.
and even Kim Jong-un was like, I'm surprised. I can't believe you did this.
Wow. Okay.
Say what you want.
Yeah, no, I remember
Your man
that whole
Obama
thing.
wasn't doing that with North Korea. He wasn't doing that. He bombed the hell out of those people 26,000 times. Not the North Koreans, but he authorized 26,000 drone strikes. He was called a deporter-in-chief by the people in the area, and he was saber-rattling all over the place with North Korea. Now you got a guy who's trying to actually make peace with Korea. He could have went violent with Iran, and he didn't. The economy is going well, and we're the lowest all-time unemployment in the last 30, 40 years. And if that's all I cared about, I would be all for Trump. What I care about, though, is I love those things, keep those things in place, and let's do something about covering everybody with health insurance. Right. And let's figure out a way, if we're not going to do Vin's open border policy, or I'll call it biblical border policy, if we're not going to do that, then come up with a way to compassionately deal with these people. And I'll vote for you. But you can't do that because you're stuck. Because it's one of those things where I can't lose to him. That's what's going on.
Well, yeah, I can see that because everybody has put him in a certain box.
Yeah, and I'm
and
not.
So and the entire time, everybody was like, any channel that you went on, they were like, it was a giant joke.
A big joke.
No way, Trump's getting in.
Big joke.
No way.
It's a big joke.
Everybody was saying it, and so
See, I'm not that good of a basketball player, but that mindset where you can get into somebody's head when they become obsessed with beating you, you can use that against. I've used that so many times. People's obsession with beating me. I've used that so many times because instead of like winning the game, they want to beat me. And beating me and winning the game is not the same thing. That's what you don't understand. So Trump puts out a tweet, and the way to win that game is to completely ignore it so that it's not an issue. But you gotta beat him. So how do you beat him? You're not gonna throw out a tweet yourself. You're gonna call, you're gonna roll up the four of you. You're gonna call a press conference. And then what's Pelosi gonna do? She's not gonna get outdone by the squad.
Oh my God.
So she is gonna go to the House and make a damn fool of herself. Somebody's gonna walk off. Meanwhile, the independents are like, this is a complete cluster.
Yep.
And no matter how crazy the Republicans were, they never did something as embarrassing as that. Pelosi had to tell them all to go back in and then help her with her resolution. And it's just an embarrassment.
Yeah.
So they had, you beat him because all he did was send a tweet, and you guys,
he was probably laying in his bed.
Oh yeah, you passed it. He was probably on the toilet. You passed the motion in the House. Good job, Pelosi. You embarrassed yourself. You humiliated the party. You humiliated the country on the world stage. And then the four horsemen. You guys got your moment in the sun, and you were able to, what's it? Ilhan came off the plane, and there was a bunch of people. Yay! We have a chant for you. I forgot what the chant was.
I didn't hear the chant.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
And it's thinking that everybody thinks like you. I hope this most recent episode finally wakes up the Democratic Party to where they say, you know what? It doesn't matter what Trump says. Nobody cares. And you know what else? The Mueller report. The Mueller's coming out tomorrow. and he's going to say whatever. And the Democrats are going to jump on it. And they're going to, I'm telling you guys what's going to happen right now. First of all, here's what's not going to happen in the Mueller report. Nothing significant will come from his testimony, I guarantee you. Nothing. In the sense that you are not going to impeach Donald Trump. It's not going to happen.
No
but
way.
I am going to tell you what's going to happen. Mueller's going to say something borderline controversial or borderline something implicatedly to Trump that implicates him somehow, right?
Okay.
The Democrats are going to go, oh, ha! I'm talking about you, Matthew Maeda. They're going to go, oh, ha! I knew it! And they're going to ride that horse, and then Trump is going to sit back and say, this is a witch hunt, it's a waste of taxpayer money. What people don't realize is after the Mueller report came out, they did another poll. Trump his approval rating shot up again, and the majority of Americans were saying it's a witch hunt, it's a waste of time.
Really?
So now it's going to happen again, and this is
that's why you're saying it's going to happen again, is because it already happened?
This is going to be a test for the Democrats. Can you learn your lesson?
Oh, gosh.
What needs to happen is let Mueller say whatever he has to say and move on. But they're not going to. I guarantee they're not going to do it. They're going to jump on whatever Mueller says.
This is going out tomorrow?
It's coming out tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll see what the Democrats do. It's unbelievable. We're doomed. We're doomed. It's almost a guarantee that this man is coming for another 4 months.
When you stand back and see the whole thing, it's like, how are you guys not seeing this?
They're gonna do it. They can't stop. The temptation is too much because that's what happens when you exist in an echo chamber where you only hear what people on your side say. That's what happens. You've not been listening to the Jimmy Dore's of the world, the Tim Pools of the world. I'm nobody. Literally, because I just started doing this stuff. There's been a lot of people that have been saying this stuff a much more articulately and in a much more calm manner than I have been. Mm-hmm. And you're not listening to them.
Right.
But you're listening to the idiots in TYT. I shouldn't say that. TYT are brilliant. They started a network, I got to pull that back. But what I'm saying is, when you're in an echo chamber and you oh my gosh, Trump is such a racist. So here's what happens with leftists. They call people racist before they find any evidence of it. So then what happens is when they see something that kind of gives them evidence, they go, aha!
Oh my gosh.
So then Trump says that thing to the fore, and it had nothing to do with their race, and most of it had nothing to do with their race, but most of it had to do with Trump is playing on these people hate America. Mm-hmm. It's anti-Americanism. It's patriotism. It's not. That's why what's his face Cat Williams told him to go home. Then it's patriotism, and white people are not the only patriots in the country.
Were they complaining about something?
They were complaining. Cat said something. America's the greatest country in the world, and then the Mexican guy was like, "Well, I don't think so." Cat Williams was like, "Get up." And then Cat Williams went on CNN, and they asked him about it, and he said, this is the greatest country in the world. This is where I am. So if you don't like it, then you don't have to stay here. Nobody's stopping you. And, there he was in CNN. So, but are they listening? Are they doing any research? Are they talking to any black or people of color who are not Democrats? Are they talking to any other versions of people of color? Because a black Republican is really, 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 really easy to convert to leftism if you would just engage us. But no, it's just, so what happens is they already have Trump pegged as a racist, and so they find something and he said something mean about against black people. That means he's racist. No, it might just mean he just doesn't like that particular person who's black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh?
That can happen.
And here's the other thing that white people do not understand about black people. Don't you realize that every single president that we voted for has been racist, mostly? Hello? Go read.
Some of them even owned slaves.
Go read Abraham Lincoln. He was racist as hell. He was saying that we were not as intelligent, we were not equal to white people, but he was like, we just can't do this slavery thing. He was racist. Abraham Lincoln wouldn't survive today. So this is the other thing that these people have missed.
Yeah.
Black people are used to voting for people that hate them. We voted for the Clintons. We re-elected Bill Clinton. Hello? Bill Clinton Crime Bill Clinton that put a whole 200, 300,000 black men in the freaking system, and we still voted for him. So do you think that all of a sudden now we're going to be like, well, we can't vote for anybody that's racist? That's all we've been voting for. That's all we've had to vote for is racist people.
That's wild, yeah.
God almighty. There's no thought at all. No thought whatsoever. Ridiculous. The only people that stayed pat in the last election was black women. Black women were heavily on Hillary's side. But
they were?
Oh yeah. But for the most part.
Why?
But for the most part. Don't even get me started. I love you, sisters, but good Lord.
Oh my word.
That's the thing, is like, that's the other thing that gets me about these leftists, is like, they're using these trigger words like racist or whatever.
I'm like blown away that a black woman would want to vote for Hillary when she called black people sexual predators. Is that what
super predators? She called black youth. That was me.
Super predators.
My mom was like, oh, what is that?
But if you're a black woman, then you're gonna have black kids. So like, she's saying that about your kids.
Yeah, but
and you're creating that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And that was, again, policy, actual legislation. Trump didn't create legislation to send Ilhan home. He just sent a tweet. But my point is black folk have been, all we've had is racists to vote for. The best president, Lincoln is always in everybody's top 3. He was racist as hell.
Right.
Look, here's Snopes. In 1858, Lincoln expressed his opposition to racial equality and asserted the superiority of white people. True. Yeah, exactly. I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and the black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races from living together in terms of social and political equality. And inasmuch as they cannot so live while they do remain together, there must be a position of superior and inferior, and I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the races, having the superior position assigned to the white race. That was Lincoln. This is a guy that all you guys are saying is the greatest president in history. Yes. You know what? He was actually able to do something for us, though. See? He's racist as hell, but he did something for us. Mm-hmm. Donald J. Trump has said nothing in the neighborhood of that. Nothing. So, I'm sorry, if your strategy is to tell black people not to vote for this guy because he's a racist, that just shows how privileged and ignorant you are. Because that's all we've been doing, ever. So now we've just guaranteed that more of our fellow countrymen and women and kids are going to die for reasons that could have been prevented. Because we want to play these identity politics games. And Nancy Pelosi...
What do you mean? Why are more going to die because of that?
Because we're not going to get Medicare for all.
Oh.
Because they're bound and determined to hand this man... another 4 years. And then so...
I see what you're saying.
So here we are. Watch what they do with the Mueller report. There you go. There's Ilhan. She's got her hand up. Yeah! I'm done with these people. All right, well, there you go. Love your neighbor.
Take care of each other.
Middle America.
We are the media.
Till next time, guys. Good God.